Okay, so are you ready to jump into this? Today we're going deep on the Waff and how it can help women get ready for childbirth.
Physically and
Mhm.
mentally.
Right, exactly both.
You're probably thinking,
Yeah.
what is a Waff?
Yeah, what even is that?
It's really interesting. It's this inflatable cushion, but with a bit of a twist. Like if you picture a stability ball, but instead of that whole ball kind of wobbling, the Waff has this raised center that makes it unstable in just very targeted ways.
Okay, I'm already intrigued. We've got a ton of research here, videos, expert opinions.
Yeah.
We even get a sneak peek at a real Waff session in action. So our mission today is to figure out how this simple but technical tool, as one expert called it, helps women prepare for that big day.
Yeah, and speaking of experts, Professor Pierre Mares is a huge proponent of the WAF. He talks about how it can help with all kinds of things, managing pain, weight gain, even preparing for the actual birth itself. And, he emphasizes how simple it is,
Yeah,
but at the same time,
but
how technical it is.
yeah, it's not
And that's really what's important here. The WAF itself is pretty straightforward,
right.
but the magic happens when it's in the hands of a trained therapist who can adapt it to each woman and where they are in their pregnancy.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Definitely not. It's really about this personalized experience using this pretty unique looking cushion.
Yeah, so we're talking about a tool that helps women stay healthy and active throughout their pregnancy.
Exactly. Maintaining fitness, reducing the risk of complications like gestational diabetes, and even potentially making labor a bit easier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's about helping women feel more confident and in control.
Okay, so all that makes sense, but how does it actually work?
Let's look at the videos we have. You'll see the WAF used for a bunch of things: relaxation, stretching, strengthening, even postpartum recovery. And what I noticed was how the therapist in the videos is always adapting to what the woman needs. They're switching out different sizes of WAFs, changing the exercises based on feedback. It feels like a real partnership, which I think is so important, especially when you think about how much a woman's body changes during pregnancy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Pregnancy can be a wild ride.
Hmm.
You mentioned the different WAF sizes. Are those for different stages of pregnancy?
Not really. It's more about the different types of exercises and adjustments you can make.
Hmm.
Take the Mini Classic, for example. It's the smallest WAF, and it's often used for more targeted exercises or for women who maybe are earlier in their pregnancy and want a smaller surface. But it really depends on the individual and what the therapist recommends.
That really shows that simple but technical
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that there's a smaller option. How much does a WAF cost, by the way?
The price is actually pretty reasonable, especially when you think about the benefits. The Mini Classic starts at just $40, which makes it accessible for a lot of women. You can find more info on their website, waffstudio.com.
$40. That's less than I would have thought. Okay, so we've got this inflatable cushion that comes in different sizes, and it can be used for all these exercises, and it can be adapted for what each woman needs. But how does the mental preparation for childbirth come into play?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The WAF, by its nature, really encourages mindfulness. Because it's unstable, you have to engage your core and think about balance. You have to become really aware of your body and how it's moving.
Yeah, so it's like this constant feedback loop.
Exactly.
You're always adjusting and engaging, and you're naturally working those muscles without even thinking about it.
And as you become more aware of all those little sensations, you start to understand your body more and what it can do.
Which is incredibly empowering, especially when you're getting ready for something as physically and emotionally demanding as childbirth.
That's right. The WAF isn't just about building physical strength. It's about building that mental strength and the confidence in your body to handle all those challenges that are ahead. And that mental strength is something that comes up a lot in what we've been looking at. Professor Mares even talks about how the WAF can be used to help manage pain,
Oh, really?
not just during pregnancy,
Right.
but potentially even during labor.
Wow. I mean, I can see how it could help with things like back pain, which is so common in pregnancy.
Yeah.
But during labor, how would that work?
Well, remember how we talked about how the WAF helps you become more aware of your body?
Yeah.
That can actually be really helpful for pain management. Becoming more in tune with your body and how it's responding means you can almost work with the sensations instead of feeling totally overwhelmed by them.
Oh, that's fascinating. It's like by using the WAF and becoming so aware of your body, you're gaining this whole new level of understanding
Exactly.
and control.
Yeah, and that can be so empowering during labor, which can feel really intense and unpredictable.
Okay, so let's talk about this deeper understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We've mentioned the pelvic floor a few times,
Right.
but we haven't really explained what it is.
So the pelvic floor is basically a group of muscles that support your bladder, uterus, and other organs down there in your pelvis.
Okay.
And these muscles are super important during pregnancy and childbirth.
Okay.
They help support the growing baby, they help control bladder function, and they actually play a huge role in pushing during labor.
Got it. So that's the pelvic floor. I always hear about it, but never really knew what it was. So how does the Waff help with that?
Well, one of the biggest things the Waff does is strengthen those pelvic floor muscles, and not just strengthen them, but it helps you become more aware of them and how to use them correctly.
Because like we said with the Waff, you're always adjusting your balance and engaging your core. So you're naturally working those pelvic floor muscles without even really thinking about it.
Right, and that awareness is so key because it allows women to consciously relax and release those muscles during labor, which can actually make giving birth a lot easier.
Wow, I never even thought about that.
Eh.
I'm starting to see how this seemingly simple tool can be used in so many different ways.
It is, and that's really the beauty of it. It's a simple design, but it has so many uses.
Yeah.
And it's not even just limited to those one-on-one therapy sessions. We're seeing videos of group Waff classes for pregnant women.
Group classes.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I bet the community aspect could be really helpful, especially during pregnancy when you're going through so many changes.
Absolutely. There's something so powerful about connecting with other women who are on the same journey, sharing experiences and supporting each other.
Yeah, and it probably helps with motivation too. Like I can do this even though I'm 9 months pregnant and feel like a beached whale.
I can definitely relate to that feeling, but
Yeah.
yes, that social aspect can be really motivating and uplifting.
So we have this tool that's helping women physically get ready for childbirth, strengthening muscles, improving posture, addressing pain. And then on the mental side, it's building that awareness and resilience and maybe even helping with pain management during labor. That's pretty incredible.
It is, and I think it points to this bigger shift that's happening in healthcare, this move towards a more holistic and patient-centered approach.
Totally. It's
Right.
not just about treating the symptoms. It's about giving people the tools and support they need to take charge of their own health and well-being.
Yeah. And it's so cool to see tools like the Waff kind of leading the way in that shift. But we've talked a lot about the physical and mental benefits.
Right.
Is there an emotional component to using the Waff during pregnancy too?
I think there definitely is. A lot of the sources we looked at talk about the emotional benefits, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Pregnancy is a time of such huge emotional change.
Right.
And when you have a tool that helps you feel more connected to your body, stronger, more in control,
Yeah.
that can have such a big impact on your emotional well-being.
It's not just about getting ready for labor. It's about going through that whole pregnancy experience
Exactly.
with more confidence and resilience.
Yeah, embracing the whole journey. Yeah, with all the ups and downs. Speaking of embracing the journey, what are some of the things that surprised you as we've been digging into all this research?
I was really struck by how versatile the Waff is.
Okay.
I knew it was used during pregnancy, but seeing how it can be used for postpartum recovery,
Yeah.
even just general fitness,
Right.
it really made me realize how much potential it has.
Yeah, beyond just getting ready for childbirth. We even saw a video of a woman using the Waff to regain her core strength and stability.
Yeah.
After having her baby, it's like this tool that can support women through different phases of life.
Absolutely. And that's something that Professor Maris talks about, too. He emphasizes how the Waff can help women stay healthy long after they've given birth.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as an inflatable cushion can have such a big impact.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with?
I think the biggest thing is that preparing for childbirth isn't just about the physical stuff.
Yeah.
The mental and emotional aspects are just as important. Right?
And tools like the Waff can really help women address all of those needs in a way that feels really empowering.
I love that. And for our listeners out there, I really encourage you to check out the waffstudio.com website.
Yes.
There's a ton of information there about the Waff and how it can benefit you on your pregnancy journey. And remember, every pregnancy is different.
So true.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding what feels right for you and your body.
Absolutely. Listen to your body, trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to explore different options to find what makes you feel your best.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about, and I hope it sparked some curiosity for you too.
Me too.
Who knows? Maybe the Waff will become your new best friend during pregnancy and beyond.